Hello there, friends, and welcome back to another infrequent episode of Atom Path, the series where we ramble about whatever fucking movie we feel like it, and I swear I will get back to Lord of the Rings. I am being joined by my lovely co-host Leon.
Hi.
I am Claire, and for some fucking reason we decided to watch another Japanese movie.
And it wasn't my idea this time.
Yeah, we watched Ringu, the 1998 original Ring movie that inspired The Ring. Although it isn't actually the original Ring movie, there was actually a 1995 made-for-TV version, which is apparently really weird. And let's not forget the 1999 South Korean version, which is apparently really shit.
I don't know both of them. I only know this one and the remake.
Yes, there's Ring Kanseban, which is closer to the book, and that's the TV movie one. And then there's the Ring Virus, which is the South Korea one, which is a weird hybrid of the book and the movie, and is apparently not as good as either of them. So yeah, this is a book adaptation, which I actually didn't know about until a couple of years ago when I was looking into it. I knew The Ring was a remake, but I didn't know it was also based on a book.
A lot of Japanese films are based on books, I think.
I know a lot of Ghibli stuff is.
Yeah, Paprika is. So it's not Ghibli, but Paprika is based on a book. And Old Boy is Korean, but it's based on a manga.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think... And for all I know, the books are like their own separate beast and are actually kind of great.
Yeah.
And they apparently get really weird by the third one.
Yeah, Japanese writing is a little bit different from or Asian writing in general. I think it's not that focused on a 3-act structure, and that's what you can see in many movies as well.
Yeah. So, Ring. What's your first encounter with the Ring? Because I've got a bit of a story with Sadako.
I don't actually remember my first encounter. I think it's just an iconic imagery to see this girl with the black hair all over her face and covering her eyes, how she's crawling out of the TV.
Yeah.
Like, I think I knew this when I was really young as well, because it's getting parodied and stuff like that as well.
Yeah. I remember watching Scary Movie 3, which that's the one where they decided to parody the Ring.
Yeah.
Very funny film, actually. I it's been a few years, but I remember quite liking that one. My first encounter, because to me, I never knew her as Sadako or Samurai. She was just Ring Girl to me. And to me, she was as iconic and scary as, Freddy and Jason. Which was shocking to then learn that she's only... Well, obviously now there's been 3 American movies, but back then there was only 2 American movies, and a lot of people don't like the second one, and I've not even watched the American one, so, I can't say. And that there's 10 Japanese ones, and they're all really fucking weird. And I have to point this out for people who don't know. For some ungodly reason, they decided to release the sequel to Ringu, Rasen, which is based on the second book, Spiral, the same day. And I will never understand why.
Like the same day of Ringu.
No, yeah, as in, they both came out the exact same day.
Well.
And it wasn't like a double bill thing,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because if it was they were 2 separate movies, but then they decided to, splice them together as one big movie. I'd get that. But that's not what happened. And if both movies are done, just hold off on the second one for 9 months. So yeah, the Ring timeline's weird. She's fought the Grudge Girl at some point, which I want to watch Ju-On. I want to watch the Ju-On the Curse at some point. But yeah, I feel like Sadako is very definitively J horror. You know.
Yeah.
I think
definitely.
that imagery of, and I mean, I think it helps that The Grudge also has a very similar antagonist in her aesthetic of long black hair, that death noise, that weird movement.
Yeah, for me, I think I thought Ju-On was always a little bit scarier to me.
Yeah,
But
I'm a
Ring
bit more
is more
hesitant
iconic.
watching Ju-On. Because Ju-On seems a lot more jumpier.
It's just this death rattling noise, or how you
Yeah.
call it.
So before we get into the movie, I'd just like to point out the actual story of us watching this, because I was like, oh, well, I want to watch Ring. Do you want to watch it with me? And basically, it was my thing of, I'm scared of horror movies, even though I love horror movies. Please watch it with me. So we hopped on a Discord call, and we watched it. I did not find it scary. I found it unnerving and unsettling, which is what I like in a horror movie, but I'm not going to lie. I think this would make a really good, first horror movie.
Oh, that's a good topic. Horror movies that are good for a first experience when you're too young to watch horror movies.
Should we go into this? Because the thing with Ring is, it's not the most complicated of plot, so we're probably not going to be talking about the plot all that much.
Yeah, I think we can sum up the plot very fast.
Yeah, so do you want to start on this topic then? This idea of what's a good first horror movie? Because I'd argue Ring is. Maybe this might apply to The Ring. I've never seen it. I'd like to see it soon. But the reason why I think Ring makes a good first horror movie is because it's kind of not a horror movie.
Yeah.
It's much. If you look at this movie thinking it's going to be a horror film, you're going to get surprised like I was when you realise it's actually more a detective movie, more like a mystery movie with horror elements.
Yeah.
Because the whole premise isn't... I'll just go a bit into the plot here. The whole premise isn't Sadako's killing people. It's the main woman's trying to work out why Sadako's killing people and then realises she's next.
Yeah.
And is trying to break the curse before she gets victimized. And the fact that, there are some genuinely unsettling moments, but none of it's a cheap scare.
No, I wouldn't say no. No.
Even its
not.
jump scare, I'd argue, was... Because I only counted, one jump scare, I think. And even that jump scare was less of a, screamer and much more of a sudden jolt. Which... I can forgive something. I have a hatred of jump scares, but I can forgive a sudden jolt scare,
I think jump scares are fine if they are deserved.
But well done.
Yeah, that's what I mean with deserved. It's not you build up music and tension, and the thing that's happening is a cat jumping out of a closet and making a loud noise. So that's just a cheap jump scare. It's a jump scare for the sake of scaring. Well,
yeah,
it's not scaring people. It's just they get surprised.
Yeah, I'd like to give a comparison. This is in gaming, actually. A great jump scare example is in the original Five Nights at Freddy's, where the jump scares are less random scares, and much more something's about behind the camera, and you don't want to click down because you're about to get scared. But at the same time, if there's nothing there, the longer you wait.
Yeah.
And that's an effective scare. And then the third game's here, have jump scares that are random and jump scares that don't kill you. And it's but that's not as interesting.
I think a really good example for good jump scare is I don't know in which I didn't watch the movie itself, but I know the clip. I think it's from The Exorcist 3.
Oh yeah.
The hallway scene where they are in the hospital
Okay.
and you see a one shot and it's like 3 minutes long and you see a nurse wandering around. She's doing her
Yeah.
She's
She's
doing
doing
her
a
job.
rounds.
She's doing her rounds, and you see this hallway for 3 minutes, and nothing happens. And then when you think the scene is ending, and I think the nurse gets out of a room, and suddenly a person with a knife comes right behind her, and it cuts.
I think this one. I think it's The Conjuring, or Insidious. I'm not saying.
No, it's not The Conjuring.
No. Sorry, no, I'm going to get a different
Oh,
example.
okay, I see.
Yeah. But like, it's a similar kind of horror where I think it's a guy looking at something, and then as he moves away, like the monster's just there. Like, as in, like he moves away, and it was perfectly behind him.
Oh, I see. Yeah, The Conjuring and Insidious have some good jump scares, like the one where in Insidious 1 they have a normal conversation, and it's bright daylight,
Yeah.
and you see this shot counter shot thing during a dialogue, and you don't expect anything to happen. There's no build up and stuff, and suddenly you see the demon behind his shoulder.
No, that's the exact scene I think I'm on about. Like, he's
Oh,
like
okay,
black and
okay,
red.
yeah.
I
That's
think
the red-faced demon.
Yeah, but we're talking about the same scene. I've never seen
okay.
it, so I've only seen the screenshot and the description.
Yeah, I think this shot is kind of iconic for a new horror movie.
Oh yeah. I mean, with some iconography in this one we could get into, but let's go back to the topic at hand, which was, what do you think is like a perfect first horror movie?
It's kind of difficult, but I think so. How I got introduced to horror was those on Halloween. They showed these Disney cartoons.
Oh yeah.
That were kind of scary, like what is it called? Headless Horseman?
Oh yeah, no, I know. Look, I know what you're on about.
Yeah, this is a short film they showed, and it's really scary. It's even scary if I look at it now, because I think the protagonist actually dies.
Oh, fun!
Well, you don't see it, but he's
It's
about to
implied.
cross the bridge, and suddenly the Headless Horseman is in front of him,
Yeah.
and that's where it ends. And later, I think I saw Let Me In, so the remake from Let the Right One In, and I just love this movie. I don't think it has any jump scares at all.
But it's just a good film. I've heard that's a very good movie.
It is. Yeah, and after that I started to watch Conjuring and Insidious.
Yeah.
These things.
I mean, I've always had a fascination with horror. It's just one of those, like, because kids aren't usually allowed it, so it's interesting.
Yeah.
But like,
Or just reading the descriptions of horror movies
Yeah.
in movie magazines. That's what I did.
Wikipedia, looking at the boxes, be creeped the fuck out. I was scared of the original Ring 2 box when I was a kid. With it just Sabara just standing there menacingly.
Yeah.
Should we get? Do you want to jump back onto the Ring now, or Ring?
Yeah, we can.
So, we're going to be entering spoiler territory. Watch the movie.
Uh-huh.
It's pretty good.
It is.
So
It's just 90 minutes.
yeah, it's not a long movie, all things considered. So, like the whole initial premise is, and I mentioned I really liked this opening scene. By its
Water.
water.
Yeah.
So it's it's the two girls talking to each other,
Yeah.
and the one's like, "Oh, have you heard this creepy story?" And she tells the story of the ring tape.
Yeah.
And then the other girl is like, "Yeah, that happened. That I've watched the tape
And when was it?
7 days ago."
Doo-doom.
I will say, well, I do love the quiet subtleness of this one. I think the American one having 7 days, I think that's a good touch. I think that adds some ominousness, you know.
Yeah.
But basically, they're frightened. They get a phone call. It's just the mom, and again, I really like this. The one girl has to go to the bathroom. The TV starts playing up, and you don't see it, but like, it's fairly obvious what's happening.
Yeah.
And that girl is deaded. She be deaded.
And the other one is in a mental hospital, I think.
Yeah, but that poor other girl, she is never mentioned again, except for the fact that she just absolutely lost it after.
Well, she probably died.
Yeah. So it then follows on to our main protagonist. Do you know her name?
No. But that's not a Japanese thing. Most of the time, I don't remember the names of characters.
And there's not that many characters, so they're not like, "Hi, blank." It really just follows like a couple people. And so she's a single mother. She's a journalist. And she just kind of, she works so much she neglects her fucking adorable son. I love the kid in this movie.
Yeah.
And she neglects him, and when she goes to the funeral of, it's revealed that this girl who died was her niece. She hears about the tape. And it's around this time where the jump scare happens, and I think this is so clever, it's like she's talking to her sister, who's obviously destroyed. And it actually shows the scene where she finds the body.
Yeah.
And what I like about this jump scare is, it's less of a screamy moment and more of a... Honestly, that's how you would react to finding a body. It would be that sudden jolt.
I don't know how I would react when I find a body.
I think I'd collapse from shock, honestly. I am not the person to handle a death situation. Continuing. So she basically uncovers more that 4 friends had a week ago gone to a cabin, and then passed away, all in the same way at the same night.
Yeah.
So she goes there, and as she's like investigating, she sees the tape, and it's calling to her. So she watches it.
Yeah.
And I want to point out, the tape is different from the books. And it's different from Kanzeban, I believe. I believe Kanzeban is more close to the book. And I believe that one of the main differences is the book tells you how to deal with the virus in the tape. And feels... 'cause the thing about the tape in Ring is it's explicitly like... it's giving you foreshadowing about what's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's telling you the story. Apparently, it does a similar thing in the novel on Kalteban, but it's a lot more unhinged. It literally it looks like a weird video someone made on YouTube, And the whole thing in the original version, which isn't the case in this version, is just as the main character is watching the tape, and at the end it's supposed to say, here's how you break the curse. And then it's revealed someone taped over it. That doesn't happen in this version, but she does. She watches the tape. It's fucking weird. And she gets the phone call. At this point, I would like to discuss the nature of Ring, like its name. Because I'm about to admit something kind of hilarious.
Okay.
I was completely under the impression that Ring was only referring to the tape.
Okay.
Because, it's the well and you see a ring. And she comes through the ring. That's what I assumed.
It's what?
That's what I assumed. Like, it's just because they show a ring in the tape. That is not why it's called Ring.
I thought it was called Ring because she's in the well.
Mm-hmm.
And the last thing
she saw was a ring of light.
Yeah.
You see, that's the thing. That would that's like, I think that's more imagery, because it hit me as I was watching the end, because we're in spoiler territory. How you survive the virus is you copy the tape and show it to someone else.
Oh, okay.
It's a loop. It's a ring. For you to
It's only a ring if somebody gives it back to you.
Yeah. Well, it's more like that cycle of it restarts for someone else. I think the second the second novel establishes it as more of a spiral. Hence, Spiral.
Wow.
Yeah. So the race is on, and she calls in her ex-husband to help her out. I just like to point out,
who's a very hot school teacher.
Yeah, he's just this really cool dude. And I just like to point out, I love these two, because they just seem. It's not like we were divorced and we're not on speaking terms, or they fall back in love at the end. They're just all right with each other. They're like,
it's like they are friends.
Yeah, it's like, look, it didn't work, but I don't really want you dying. So she copies the tape and shows it to him, so he can study it. And as around the time this happens, her son watches the tape. So now it's not just a race for her own life, it's a race for her son's life.
Yeah.
And this is where it gets kind of interesting. So she drops the son off at her granddad's.
And they go fishing.
Yeah, they go fishing.
Which is really important.
They go fishing, which is such an adorable little thing. You have a nice little weekend with the grandpa while, the mom's fucking fighting for her life.
Yeah.
And they head off, and they investigate the origin. And basically, it's revealed that there was this woman who was psychic. And I fucking hate the people in this scene, because they're showing a flashback of her showing off her psychic abilities, and then the one guy is like, oh my god, she's a fraud. And they're all like a fraud. And then when one person kills over a guy, they're like, she's a witch, burn her. It's like, you can't have it both ways. You can't not believe her and then suddenly be like, this is the only logical explanation.
It's not that far away from reality, I think.
Yeah, probably wouldn't. But it's revealed she didn't. Her daughter Sadako killed him. And as like a sealing away thing, they basically sealed her in the well.
Yeah.
and then built a house on top of the will for some god unknown reason.
Her own father pushed her in the well.
Yes. It is worth noting, I believe in the book, they go a lot more into Sadako's origin, and basically she was just really fucking abused, and also intersex. Sadako in the novel's intersex.
Okay.
Which is just an interesting little tidbit. Obviously, never read the book, so I can't say if it amounts to anything, or is it like, interesting detail, ooh. She has a fairly common, all things considered, thing that, it's alright. But it's spooky for people to not fit into the gender bind. But so it continues, and they head to the well, and it's the whole film. It's like showing like what day it is, and she's on her last day. The main character is, and they go into the well, and they're trying to find Sadako. Until the idea of if we bring her like to actual peace, we can end the curse.
Yeah.
And I like the scene when they find Sadako. Because it's very much this nice moment of... Because Sadako really is a victim in this movie.
It's this nice moment of a woman holding a dead girl's head.
Yeah, I mean, it is dark and gross, but it's also that thing of like, I found you, it's okay now,
Yeah.
They get her out, they report to the police, she gets the police blanket.
And then the narrator is like, but things weren't okay.
Yeah, it's like, you're thinking, that was a nice conclusion to the movie. It's a bit weird that, the iconic TV scene didn't happen, and then it's like, oh no, there's another 10 minutes left of this movie.
Yeah.
So, the guy goes home, and, his TV starts going weird. And this is when he kind of realizes, fuck. And
yeah,
the iconic scene happens. And I saw someone talking about this. I cannot remember who it was, but they made a fantastic point. Ring really works as a horror movie. And one of the reasons it does work so well is it breaks an unspoken rule between the filmmaker and the audience when it comes to horror. That glass screen is a shield. You tell if you're scared of a movie, what do you say? It's not real.
Yeah.
It's not real. It's just a movie. And here we have a fucking creepy girl crawling out of the TV to horribly murder someone. We have the iconic and very gross eye scene. I do not like the eye scene. Ew.
Just an eye.
Just an eye, but it's so gross. You don't actually see all that much of Sadako. She's on screen, really, for just like a minute. Not counting her appearances in the tape. And, she kills him. And again, you don't actually see how she kills him. She just does it. And, imagine later movies have a bit of gore to it. And with him deaded, the woman comes back and basically, as she returns and she realizes he's been killed, it clicks that the reason she survived but he didn't was that it wasn't to do with like Sadako's body at all. No, she's still just a fucking angry spirit. This meant nothing. It's that she copied the tape, and I think that's actually quite a scary ending. Like, oh yeah, the seemingly logical, nice thing to do. She didn't fucking care. She's a ghost. She's dead, and she's not happy about that arrangement. And the film ends with her calling up her dad to basically like, right, I need your help with something, because they've got to copy the son's tape. And as the movie wrapped up, I would like to point out that the first thing Leon said was, she's going to murder the granddad.
I think that's very heavily implied.
Yeah, I think it is. I think that might actually be it. But I was like, oh,
Like, I think that's the thing she wants the granddad's help with.
yeah. What's
that
this
he
cursed
watches
tape?
the copied tape.
Yeah. You see, for initially, my idea was, oh, is she gonna maybe like set up like a loop thing? Like she watches it, copies it, and he watches it, copies it. But no, she's absolutely gonna murder him. So yes, that was a ring. Do you have any more points you want to make about like the plot before we just go into random details?
No, I just like J-horror.
J-horror. You know what? I've always felt like J-horror wasn't for me. I've always thought it'd be too scary, and yet the thing is, I'm finding myself loving J-horror more and more. I quite liked Pulse. I really like this movie, and I want to get into Ju-on. I want to get into Tomie. I want to watch Dark Water.
Yeah.
So.
How about Audition?
Oh no, that's the one.
Probably not. Probably not.
Um,
But it's good. Audition is good.
So.
And it's also based on a book.
Many spoopy books. So. Ring. What's your thoughts?
I didn't think it was too scary, as you pointed out in the beginning, but to be honest, I think I say this almost every time we watch a horror movie. It's hard for me to get scared by movies. I don't know what it is. I used to get scared by them when I was younger.
Yeah.
But when I was like 15 or 16, I kind of stopped. Like, I could watch a horror movie and go to bed right after without any problem.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's... I can have this distance between what's happening on screen and what's happening in my home.
Yeah. I'm terrible at that, but like, yeah.
I have more problems when I read a book or a manga that's scary. I think that's affecting me more.
Okay.
Because it's like a direct link to my imagination.
No, again, I know sometimes it's scarier. You can make scarier things in your head.
Yeah, showing the monster takes away from the power of the monster.
I also think there's like there's a little bit of okay, this is gonna make sense. There's a little bit of like sometimes they have to tone down stuff. In a movie, you can't. No, in a book, you can't tone down someone's imagination.
No.
But yes, very, very, very entertaining movie. I quite liked it. I think
It's atmospheric, and I like atmospheric movies.
yeah, I'd rather a film be not scary but have an amazing atmosphere than be super scary and then when you really think about it, it's like that film had no atmosphere. It was just spoops.
I don't think a movie can be really scary if it has no atmosphere.
Well, okay, Jumpy, I meant. Sorry.
Okay. But that's not scary. It's just
Yes.
a sudden rush of adrenaline, and then it goes away.
Yeah. I will say, if you are interested in looking at Ring Counterbalance, it is on YouTube. And I'm the only reason I'm saying this publicly, like, yeah, watch this on YouTube. This film has not had a home media release since 1996.
Okay.
So, if you're interested in the low-budget original Ring, check that out. But, yeah, Ring 1998, I thought was a good movie. I'm interested in checking out more. I really want to watch Rasen, which is that fucking weird sequel I did. I want to watch the other Ring movies. I get like the Ring trilogy. You know, I want to watch the original, I want to watch the sequel, I want to shit on Rings.
I like how much love you have for trash.
I love bad movies.
Like I'm not saying that they have to be trash, but most of the times, sequels of horror movies are not as good.
They always decline in quality.
Like Friday the
Oh yes, Friday the 13th
13th.
Part 8, Jason meanders around Manhattan for like 20 minutes.
or Nightmare on Elm Street. Like I enjoy the first movies, but I don't know why I can't bring myself over to watch the sequels.
Honestly, Elm Street 3 is pretty good. I like the third Elm Street movie. And also I've heard New Nightmare is a lot of fun.
Okay.
You see, the one I'm really... Oh, this is the reason why I also want to watch Ju-On. Sadako versus Kayako.
Okay.
Who fought, Jason, Freddy versus Jason? Cool. The Grudge versus The Ring. Yeah. Damn it.
Godzilla versus Monkey.
Giant Lizard versus Giant Ape.
I still haven't watched that movie.
I haven't watched the new one, yeah. I think I'll hop on Ju-On at some point soon. They made 2 original short films, so I might have to check them out at some point.
Short films about what?
Like The Grudge had 2 short films before it became a movie.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know. I thought you were talking about Godzilla and Monkey.
Just the Godzilla. I don't know how much more I can say that I like this movie.
It's a short movie.
It's not.
It's a short podcast.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good movie that you can enjoy
Yes.
with friends and family.
Yes.
Show it to your children.
Show it to Grandma. Grandma will love it.
Scare them for life.
Yeah. Make them afraid of eyes forever. And then show them Ju-On.
Yeah.
And
then audition.
remember, Sadako just needed a hug.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, hugging her actually didn't help, but she just needed a hug.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I think we can wrap up.
yes, I mean, soon we will be get jumping back on Lord of the Rings. I don't really have a next time.
Well, then it's Lord of the Rings, I guess.
Probably gonna be Two Towers. I might suggest the fucking weird Peter Cushing Doctor Who movie soon.
Okay.
Right. I've got to sell you on this. For some fucking reason, at the same time the first Doctor was airing, they're like, why don't we make 2 Doctor Who movies based on his stories, but remove all the interesting things about his character and just make him some fucking eccentric time traveler old man? He's not an alien, he's not infinitely wise, he's just a kooky old dude.
I want to watch Man vs. Bee. That's all I want.
Man vs. Bee, yes. Sadako vs. Bee? And then the film ends with
perhaps.
the bees befriending Sadako. The ring bee.
No comment.
If the ring ever becomes public domain, nothing will stop me.
Do whatever you want.
Thank you.
But I don't have to watch it.
Yes, you do. Thank you guys so much for watching.
Listening.
Tasting in the future, maybe. And we'll see you guys whenever. This podcast doesn't have a schedule.
Yeah. The schedule got lost.
Yeah, we had a schedule briefly, and then we had lives.
Yeah.
That's an unfortunate development.
Okay, thanks for listening.
And remember, 7 days.
Bye.